Being an immigrant mom and dad, I had to take the opportunities that I was given more seriously. I like throughout school, I always had to take like the highest classes. I had to get the best grades. I always had to think like 10 steps forward. So their sacrifices really put things into perspective of how difficult life really can be and what I have to do to make sure that I can support myself and them in this country.
I have to be more well off in my career. That's the one goal, no matter what in my life or whatever emotions or experience I'm going through. My parents have taught me that you have to be well off or settled, and that for us has always been having a stable job. So for my parents, like I said, working at gas stations, and then he worked so hard to have a good job now, and he's still working really hard. So viewing him doing all of that and working very hard to, give us a good life, I have to do the same.
Yeah.
Where my top priority is my career. And I want to make sure I do whatever it takes to give myself the same life my parents have given me. I feel as being females, if we want something, that's how we want it to happen.
Yeah.
There's so many conflicting ideas or opinions, just because of the fact that you guys all want your own, way.
Yeah.
Which I can see that being a little difficult too so what's the conclusion? What are we going to do? We have 10 different opinions. Now what?
I think there's also a difference between a woman that is quiet and hardworking and may not go and have conversations with everybody than a man that is quiet and hardworking. For a man, it's seen as he's so strong and he's doing his own thing and he's hardworking. As a woman, you're seen as she doesn't care about anybody else. She doesn't want to put that effort towards, having interactions with other people. So
yeah,
it's kind of double standard.
Welcome to News, Nonsense, and more. News, nonsense, and more.
Welcome to a brand new episode of News, Nonsense, and More, or as we like to call it, NNM. This episode is a part of our Meet the Guest series, where we sit down with everyday people who have extraordinary stories to tell. Just real journeys and real conversations. At News, Nonsense, and More, we are more than just one show. We have multiple series on this channel, from current news to issues to etc. conversation. So expect laughs, unfiltered moments, and just real conversation. So hello everyone to a very, very special, episode in our podcast. And we have a very special guest who is very near and dear to my heart, my best friend, Asal. So go ahead and give a brief intro of yourself to our guests.
Hi, my name is Asal. I'm a finance major at UTD, doing my master's currently, and I work at an insurance company as an underwriter. So I'm working with balancing both of those. I love to travel with my wonderful boyfriend, and we have a little long-haired dachshund, and his name is Oliver, and he is the center of our whole lives. So that's me.
And the funniest thing, I think whenever I introduce anyone to, or anyone to us all, the first story I talk about is how we met.
Mm-hmm.
And this was our freshman year of college. And we were both in algebra. And I see this girl in my class. And I'm like, who would I want to be friends with? And I tap on her shoulder and I'm like, excuse me, can I sit next to you?
I was like, the seat's empty, right? go
want.
ahead.
And then after that, we would go to the student union almost every day after our class because we had very similar schedules our first semester. And we would always either get, I think it was Chick-fil-A fries or
large
sushi, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think our friendship kind of kicked off around that time. And then now we're both seniors. You already graduated technically. I'm about to graduate. So we've been at it for 4 years now. And I think one thing that is very similar between me and Asal is the fact that we're both daughters from an immigrant household. And I think that's one of the main topics that I want to talk about is, growing up in a Nepali household versus a Persian household and all the similarities and differences that we had to, face. So a main question for you is, what was your house like growing up? Having your parents being immigrants, etc.
Yeah. So growing up, I moved here when I was just 4 years old. And shortly after we got here, my parents decided to get a divorce. So growing up, it was just me and my mom.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our reality. And, of course, on the weekends, I still saw my dad, and it was somewhat of, a normal life, but we still had to face learning a whole new language and learning how everything works here.
Yeah. So like you're already living two lives, being in like, I guess, Persian, etc. And then now it's another life of now your dad's kind of, out of the picture for a little bit.
Exactly.
So I'm sure like just even growing up, split between two houses is already hard.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. So, just being 4 or 5 years old and not having your dad around you all the time, how did that feel?
I think because I was so young, it didn't really feel like much.
Yeah.
I'm sure I knew like somewhat in a part of me that like this maybe isn't how it should be. And having friends where I would visit and they had their whole family and everything, but it wasn't too much of a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure like your mom was always there for you too.
Yeah.
And it was like y'all were best friends.
Yeah,
et cetera.
exactly.
So, okay, that's really nice. Because I think for me, whenever I was growing up, it was very different from you in a sense of my family, we were always together, So I think that did make it a little bit easier knowing that at least I have everyone under like the same household, whatever. But you're also your only child.
Yeah.
So now on top of that, it's like another thing. So how was that just being alone, like for yourself? Because you're so independent. And I have learned, honestly, how to be independent from you. Do you think like your independence kind of drives from that moment of like your parents all being together and then now you're the only child? So is that like what it is?
For sure. I mean, I think my independency really came from just learning and mimicking after my mom. You know, she was a single parent and she had to do everything herself. So it wasn't really that in my life I was put into situations where I had to learn how to be independent. It was more that she taught me those things.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for it now because, I'm very self-sufficient and I'm so appreciative of it because I can really guide myself through life.
Yeah.
But growing up, being an only child, I had to talk to my stuffed animals and really just make the best of
The
it.
Barbie dolls,
Exactly. So,
oh, wait, I love that. What I will say is freshman year, you had like what, 3 or 4 jobs? And I was like, how is this girl doing it? And you paid for your tuition. Insane. Because I still to this day have not paid my tuition. I'm going to be honest.
well, me and my mom split it. So it's not just me. I'm so grateful that I have her help. But yeah, as long as I can remember from the moment I got my driver's license, I went and I got my first job.
What was your first job?
My first job was I worked at a Chinese restaurant and I was like a food runner.
I didn't even know this. Okay.
There you go. I was packing like the to-go orders.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of place where you had like multiple jobs. So I was doing that and I was also a server.
Okay.
And I was like also a hostess. So I was kind of like doing it all.
How much was like your initial like pay per hour?
Oh my God. Definitely minimum. Like
No
whatever minimum was like
way,
seven something.
$7.25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from then I got another job and then somehow I had 2 jobs and then 3 jobs and then
That was crazy.
I know.
I remember you telling me I have a shift at Nordstrom one night and then I worked like this at what is it, the real estate company,
the real estate
etc.
company, yeah.
And then there was some other job too, but I forgot which
The
one was
online
it?
one?
The oil company. Yes, the accountant job. Where I was like, how is this girl doing everything? Plus, she had time to hang out with me. I remember freshman year, I would bombard her because she was my only friend at that time. And I was like, can we please hang out? Like, you
Aria
have to
could
come over.
not be alone.
No.
I could not be alone.
I really couldn't. That's why I say to anyone, I'm so independent because of you, because you taught me how to be independent. Because before, like I could not do anything for myself. But you know what? Now,
We all
learning
start from
you,
somewhere.
Yeah. And I learned that from you. So I guess from you, it kind of roots down to your mom then, of how like she did everything for herself and she taught you how to, I guess, stand up for yourself. And I can see that now.
Yeah.
So, moving on to some questions here. Let's talk about being a daughter in a immigrant household. So a quick question for you. Do you feel like you had to grow up faster because your parents were adjusting to life here?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I had to grow up a little bit faster because I had to kind of teach them things throughout their life as well, as far as pronunciation of things and just like things that are socially acceptable within America. But Also, I was an only child, so I had to also learn how to do things by myself and learn how to be more independent and be more self-sufficient, like I learned from my mom.
I agree. I think you have the same thing for me as well, where my parents would do X, Y, and Z things, and I had to tell them, hey, you can't do this, or you can't say this. Or as you said, for words, for some things they say, you have to fix their pronunciation for the most part. Or, for what my mom does is she says so or it interchangeably, where she doesn't know what goes where. So I agree, where you kind of have to tell them or guide them in a way of, you can say this, but in a different way, where you have to teach them as well. So what boundary was the hardest to set for you, would you say?
Well, for Persians, we don't get much boundaries. I wouldn't, maybe now that I'm older, I can set more boundaries. I'm in a long-term relationship, so that is a boundary that I've had to set. Also, thinking about moving out, that's something that is very difficult for us because in Persian society, everybody stays, close-knit. So if you're a daughter, the only way that you're leaving your house is you've gotten married and, your husband is taking you away. But after that, you still have your family to support you. But given that we've moved all the way over here and all of her family is still in Iran, she doesn't have that backbone of family anymore. So it's difficult trying to navigate, okay, I'm planning on moving out, but I don't want to completely abandon my mom, What if I want to move to a different state? What if I get a job in a different country? What am I going to do? Take her with me? So it's difficult trying to set those boundaries because you want to keep them as close as you can with you and kind of go along with your culture. But it's difficult because that's kind of not how it is here. Here, when you're 18, you move to a college and you live in a dorm room all by yourself, as you did. And it's just so different. Like, that would give her like a shock if I said that to her. I was like, oh, I'm moving somewhere. She's like, what do you mean? Where are you going? So that's definitely difficult.
I definitely agree. Even with my parents, whenever I was initially moving out before freshman year, my mom had the hardest time adjusting. And I would go home every weekend, if you remember, where I would just take that 3-hour drive. And I'd rather see my mom because of how sad she was, knowing that I was away from her, And I think that took a lot of adjustment for her too, where whenever they moved to New Mexico, I think that was even harder on her, where now she's a state away from me. And now she's all the way in Tennessee. So now she's even further. And the same thing goes with my culture as well, where in a brown household, we're expected to stay, up until we get married or up until, our husband takes us away, whatever. And I guess being in America, the society is different in a sense of here you move out, in college, etc. So I'm glad that my parents were able to accept the fact that I was moving out super early in a sense of going to college.
Yeah.
But what my mom says now is that she understands American society, where she's seen how much I've grown living alone. For example, I think it would be the same thing for you too whenever you get your apartment, where it's so different whenever you live by yourself versus when you live with your parents. For example, there's no one buying your groceries or there's not going to be food ready when you get home, etc. So in that perspective, how do you think you're going to be able to like live alone, or what's your like goals or plans of, now I have to go buy my groceries, etc. So how are you going to make that happen?
Honestly, I'm terrified to live alone because I've never done it. I've always had my mom, and as immigrant parents are, is they have the food ready for you. They have, they do everything for you. As far as I am independent in other aspects of life, like living at home has held me back a little bit because I have her to provide me for everything. But my goals as far as moving out is to take it to a next level of cooking. Cooking is like my biggest flaw. I cannot cook anything. Thank God for my boyfriend, because if it was not for him, I don't think I would ever eat. But that is really my goal, is to try to figure out how to cook and figure out like my life and how everything goes together by living by yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know how to cook until I moved out to my apartment.
You make the best food.
Thank you.
Every time I come over and you're like, I'm making dinner, I'm there right on time.
Trust me, you learn or you just teach yourself. That one time when you came over sophomore year, you know, that's my first time officially making food and you actually loved it. And I was so surprised myself as well. But I think even for Nepali food, I don't know how to make Nepali food where I have to call my mom till this day of, oh, mom, like, what are the ingredients? How do I make this? And I'm sure you'll be doing the same thing with your mom too. But I think if you just watched a video, etc., I'm sure you can make a really good meal.
I really hope so, or else I'm going to starve.
Trust me. What does your mom make at home usually?
She makes a lot of Persian food. Now that, you know, my boyfriend has integrated a little bit, he brings all his ideas. So we've been doing stir fries, a lot of Asian food lately. Just trying to experiment with different things because I'm on my whole health kick now. So I'm trying to like get into that, but
Tell me, what is your favorite like Persian food?
My favorite Persian food has to be kebab, which is like beef and rice, or ghormeh sabzi, which I don't even know how to explain that masterpiece.
That sounds good, whatever that is.
It's so hard to make.
Yeah.
My grandma makes it amazingly, but I need to like get her recipe or something.
You know what my mom does? Whenever I go home, because now home is in Knoxville, where I have to take an extra checked bag because she makes me so much food. Like Nepali food that I can't make. She makes me biryani and momo, and she puts it in these Ziploc bags. And whenever I come to Dallas, I just put it in my freezer. So whenever I'm too lazy to cook, or if I don't feel like cooking, I can just take it out, put it in the air fryer, and it's done. I'm sure your mom, when you move out,
I really hope so. I'm going to call her and be like, I need your food right now.
Yeah, no, having immigrant parents, especially, I think a way of them showing love is through food.
Yeah, for sure.
So a big factor, if she doesn't get to send me food, because last time I came back from Knoxville, my suitcase was so full from what clothes, right? So we couldn't put everything in the checked bag. And she was so sad. She said, no, take your clothes out. No, mom. But I have another question for you. Do you feel like you can be fully honest to your parents, or do you think you have to hide some things to protect them?
I feel like every kid has to hide things from their parents growing up, you know, like anyone. It doesn't matter where you're from. Like growing up, especially moving into high school where things become a little bit different, like you're not going to be like 100% honest with your parents just for your peace of mind and for their peace of mind. But growing up Persian, you know, sure, some things have to be more discreet, but not necessarily. You know, I feel like anything I could tell my mom, if it was of real importance, you know, like she would be there to listen to me. Of course, there would be like a TED talk afterwards of you should not do this. Why did you do this? I explain as any parent would. But I feel like that's just a part of being a kid and growing up. And
what were the rules you had to follow?
Rules I had to follow. Curfew is a big thing. So like, as I was growing up, like I got an extra hour, you know, each grade. There was a little bit more leniency, but I mean, now it's much more flexible. But when I was growing up, she ran a tight ship. Like there was not many things that flew. Like if I were to have a sleepover, she needs to know who's going to be there, who are the parents. She needs to know the parents. Like it was a serious thing. It was not just like hey mom, I'm going to go to X, Y, and Z's house. No. So yeah, that was like, those were the main things.
And that's completely valid in my opinion.
For sure.
My parents honestly never did that.
Really?
Where they never really asked where I was sleeping over. Where now I think back at it where I'm like, why did you not ask me? It's kind of scary. You don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But they never understood that line of, you know, they didn't know how scary it could be going into someone else's house just because of the fact that they were immigrants, you know? Because in Nepal, if I were to go sleep over at someone's house, there'd be a girl probably that would know them, family, friends, etc. So for them, they didn't know the dangers of sending me to a different house. Nothing happened ever. But I guess I didn't have that limitation of I couldn't sleep over just because, they don't know their family, etc., which I'm very grateful for. But with my kid now, I will be checking as well.
I know.
Where are you going? How long are you going to be there for? Give me their parents' number,
I mean, in
etc.
the moment, I was like, this is unnecessary. Like, we do not need to do all of this. But now, oh no, I will be following the same rules and precautions because it's scary out there.
No, I agree. Even more. Give me a location in their parents' location so I know where everyone is at what time.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, do you think your parents were strict because of culture or just because they were scared?
I think it was a little bit of both because you tend to have the same things that your parents do. So like you grow up a certain way and you pass down the way that you grew up to your kids. So in that way, I think it's cultural, but also for my parents, I think that it was also they just didn't know what was going on over here. Like everything is so different. I may say I'm going to go to the mall and walk around with my friends for a few hours and they're going to be like, why are you going to the mall to walk? Like for them, the mall was like the bazaar where there's like a billion people. So I feel like they were also scared of just not knowing what it really was like, what I was going to go do. So, yeah.
I understand. Because, as you said, the bazaar is what we call it as well. Where in Nepal, it's just these alleys. There's a little tiny little shop here and there and there. And especially in Nepal, there's a lot of theft from what my parents have told me. People just pickpocket you wherever. So even for my parents, for this topic especially, they would be a little hesitant to let me go to, especially malls.
Yeah.
I guess not houses, but malls, because they're more dangerous. But whenever, I think I was able to go alone after the age of, 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Whenever I hit that mark, they kind of finally said, okay, just go. It's fine. Before, my mom would come with me to every shopping spree.
Yeah, my mom would be at the mall. Like, I'd be like, okay, we're going to go to X, Y, and Z store. She'd be like, okay, I'm on the first floor at Banana Republic. And I'm like, yeah, she would not let me do anything alone. If she had an opportunity to be there, she was there to make sure like everything was okay.
And I think that's just a way of our parents showing love to us.
For sure.
I think especially, I don't know if your mom did she ever tell you I love you like to you, or did she not? Or did she say in different ways?
Yeah, she was like expressive in that way, but also it was like also in other ways. Like it wasn't like I love you every like 2 seconds, but it's not like I never heard it. So
I was asking that because my parents, we usually don't say I love you in our family, because for us, I love you is actions. Yeah. Where if they were to buy me, I guess, a pastry that I really like, that's a way for them to say I love you to me without technically saying it. I don't think my dad has ever told me I love you, but he does it in a way of...
See, immigrant dads are different. That's a whole different thing because they do express their love very differently. Emotionally, I feel like they're more blocked off than moms are. So yeah, they definitely do things more through actions.
For example, whenever I was coming home the other day, my dad called me whenever I got to the airport, and this was his way of showing love, obviously. And he said, oh, are you at the airport? And I said, yeah, I'm at the airport. He said, okay, have a safe flight. Text me when you get down. But, for me, that was enough of him calling me and telling me I love you and have a safe flight, because he's never told me I love you. But that small line was his way of saying I love you. I'm sure, is it the same way for you as well?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe when I was younger, I mean, now it's like a little more like vocal. But definitely when I was younger, it was like not as vocal, and it was more through like actions, like, oh, like let's go to the movies, like let's go watch this movie that you really wanted to watch, like little things that show you that they love you, but it's not like as explicit.
Who would you say you're closer to, your mom or your dad?
Definitely my mom. I mean, that's just given. I grew up with her, and she was there for me through everything. I mean, he was also there, but it's just different.
I agree. Whenever I have to talk to my parents, I usually call my mom first, right?
Exactly.
And
we're girls.
Yeah,
so
it just
there's
makes
just
sense.
that bond.
I agree. So usually whenever I'm talking to my mom, my dad kind of just, is in the background or just says hi here or there. The funniest thing actually. So now every time I call my dad, he thinks I'm dying. Genuinely. He thinks that something's wrong or I got on a car crash or something happened to me where last time I called him, it was raining a lot in Knoxville and the power had gone out. So I called my mom first, obviously. She didn't answer. And then I called my dad and he said, what happened? What did you do now? What's wrong? I don't know. Is the same reaction for your dad too sometimes?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because I don't just like randomly call him often. So if I do, he's like,
are you dying?
Are you okay? What's going on? Yeah. But the thing I love about you is you're always FaceTiming your mom all the time. Like you guys are so close and it's adorable.
The funniest thing, while I was getting ready today, actually, she called me and she said, why are you getting ready? It's so late. Another, brown mom moment where if it's after 8 p.m., she wonders, why are you getting ready after 8 or after 7? It's time for bed. But I think that's a brown, or I guess immigrant household thing where after 8 p.m. in my house, it's lights off. Yeah, is it the same for you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So did she ever question, why are you getting ready at 8 p.m., whatever?
Any time of the day, she's questioning me, why are you getting ready? Where are you going? Yeah. And I'm like, just going to go like get some groceries. I'm going to go to the gym. Like it's not.
What else do you want to know?
Yeah.
I think the sweetest thing about your mom actually is how after work, I realized she comes to your room every day and just kind of asks you how your day was. So, has that always been a habit or did she start, at a certain age?
Yeah, I feel like she's always the one to like come to me and like see how I'm doing. Like, have you ate? How are you feeling? What happened today? And, sometimes you just like don't want to talk, you're just like in your room and you're like, I don't really want to talk to you right now. But she always comes and checks in. And the most important question she always has for me today is, have you eaten? And I'm like, no. She's like, okay, let me go make something. So thank God for her. Really.
Yeah. She said, I remember because whenever I came to your house one time, it was right whenever she was getting home as well. And the first thing that she did was go to your room. And the same thing with my mom as well. Whenever I used to live at home, every time she would come home from work, the first thing she would do is come upstairs and like ask me how my day was. So I think that's honestly not even an immigrant mom kind of thing. That's just a mom loving on you.
Definitely.
And that's one thing that's very similar to our parents or our moms especially, where me and you are definitely more closer to our moms.
Yeah.
And the fact of, how deep our connection is with them.
Yeah.
So actually, I was going to go back to a topic we were talking about earlier where when we were younger, did you ever sleep with your parents first and then sleep by yourself after? Or were you always alone?
No. When I was growing up, I was like all over my mom all the time. Like I'd be like on top of her, like anytime I could be, like until like the age of like 11 or 12. I'm like, let me sit on your lap. I was like attached to the hip with my mom. Sleeping with her, not necessarily. I mean, I feel like we slept separately for the most part, but yeah, I just loved being near her all the time.
I'm asking because for brown parents especially, they keep their kids very close where they sleep on the same bed. The babies sleep on the same bed as their parents.
Yeah.
And because of that, up until the age of 12, I'm going to be so honest, I was so sleeping with my mom in her bed. And then gradually I couldn't sleep on the bed anymore. So what I would do, because I was so scared of sleeping alone, that we had this twin mattress that we would put on the floor for me. I'm being honest, where I would sleep on the mattress on the floor just so I had her around me.
Yeah.
And I think I was 13 whenever I had my room and everything, by the way. I had my own bed, my own dresser, my own mirror, like a whole room upstairs. But I refused to sleep up there, where one day she told me, Arya, you can't do this. But I told her, it's your fault. You never like left me alone when I was little, so I can't leave you alone. Yeah. So I said, now I can't leave you alone because you never left me alone. That's why I was wondering where for a lot of immigrant parents, you know how I was saying, they keep their kids very close to them whenever they're sleeping. So I don't know if it was the same for you, but that was how it was for me. And I think that's even why I'm kind of scared of the dark a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I know you were still scared of the dark. This girl has to have a little light on
Every
all
single
times,
night.
all night.
Blame my
That's just
mom.
how you are. I was
I'm
the same way
sorry.
though. I had to have like the door open and I had to have some light coming in growing up and I had to hear the TV or else I could not sleep. Like knowing that she was like there is like what made me go to sleep. So I
agree.
didn't necessarily sleep with her, but I had to know that she was like there.
So, since you've always lived with her till this day, do you think the first day you move into your apartment, are you going to miss that presence of just knowing that she's under the same roof as you?
I'm sure I will. I'm sure it's going to be a big adjustment because it's just been me and her like my whole life. It's a little different now that, you know, I have my boyfriend and once I move out, he will be there with me. So I won't be completely alone. But, you know, having her to like always come by my door and see how I'm doing and ask me if I've eaten today is definitely going to be an adjustment, but it has to happen. And, you know, she's not going to be too far away. I'll just give her a call and I'm sure she'll come over with some kebab or something.
Or knowing you're going to go over and say, Mom, please, I need some food. So another question for you. Do you ever feel guilty for wanting independence or just, you know, wanting to be alone? So even right now that you're moving out of your house, do you feel guilty in that way?
For sure. I feel so much guilt about it because in a sense, I know that she doesn't have anybody else here and it really is just me that's her true family. But at the same time, I also have to grow on my own. So it's kind of just figuring out of what's the balance of that. So am I going to keep that in mind when I'm choosing where I'm going to live? Am I going to like move to Austin and be 3 hours away? Or am I going to move to Dallas and be 45 minutes away? So I like to keep that in mind because obviously I love her and I want to keep her as close as I can. But I also have to make space for myself to grow as a person.
I agree. And I'm sure it'll be a hard adjustment for her coming from what my mom has gone through in the past, especially because from what I'm hearing so far, you are your mom's entire life.
Yes.
So I'm sure the day, even, you know, weeks before you officially move out, she's going to start being so sad.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure she'll be okay. She'll be fine. You'll be super close.
We'll make it work.
The daily phone calls?
Yes, daily phone calls, weekend dinners, just come over whenever, you know, just give a heads up. But other than that, you know, I want to like keep the same amount. Like her biggest fear is that I'm going to move away and just not see her anymore. And I'm like, you know that that's not going to happen. Like, but that's just what she thinks. And I'm like, that's not how it's going to be.
I mean, she's just scared because like you said, she just thinks that you're never going to see her again.
Yeah.
But I would say you are going to go back, from my experience, you are going to go back the most for the first couple of months or the first year. And then it kind of decreases. It will never just stop, obviously. Right. But, you know, with time, you're going to have more things to do. You have your own life. You want to travel, whatever. So the weekly dinners might turn into bi-weekly dinners, which might turn into monthly dinners or a couple of months where, you know, same thing for me, where I would go home every weekend freshman year, which turned into every month, which turned into every couple of months, where now it's every break. Yeah. And, you know, even with my mom, she's very scared about this. And this is why I stayed home for a long time during this duration of the winter break, where this is the last time I'm ever going to be home for 1 month. And even in the last 2 years, I have not been home for more than a weekend. So whenever I was home, I made sure to give my mom everything. You know what she would do? Every night before she went to bed, she would come to my room for about 1 hour and just enjoy my presence. And, you know, that's fine. Yeah. I really enjoyed her presence too, but she was just so happy that I was home. Yeah. And your mom's going to be the same way. Just wait and watch. Whenever you go home, she's not going to stop bothering you the whole time. And then usually during the days, if I'm not awake at a certain time, she'll come in my room and just sit in my room until I wake up, where I'm just forced to wake up, by the way. So she'll be the same way. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just her showing love to you.
I feel like it's different, though. Like, when you're living at home, you don't appreciate it as much. But whenever you don't have that same access to them, when you do, it's like your relationship changes in a way. It's like you bond in a different way, in a closer way, because your time is more limited.
It's more valuable.
Exactly.
I agree. Where even for my birthday this year, me and my mom, we went to a brunch, right? And I just talked to her for the whole time because I don't know the next birthday I'll be with her, or the next New Year, or the next Christmas, etc. Where this time especially, I made sure to soak up every last minute of me being home, even though I did not have the best time being home because I have no friends there. But my best friend has always been her and is her. So I just tried my best to give her me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Where I let her just have me for, just I guess as a best friend or for fun, etc. But now I wanted to move on to a new topic. So I want to touch upon this similar protest that has been happening in Nepal. Not happening, it happened in Nepal, which is currently happening in Iran. So for those of you who don't know what happened at all, so this is Nepal's Gen Z protest, and this started in early September of 2025 after the government suddenly blocked access to about 26 major social media and messaging platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, and X, saying these companies have not registered under, local rules. TikTok and a few other companies such as Viber were registered, so they were allowed to stay, which, basically felt like it was targeting Gen Z in a sense. And this was not just because of a social media ban, it was also because of the fact of all the corruption, etc., that had been going on in Nepal for years to come. So on September 8th, big protests erupted in Nepal and Kathmandu and in other cities, where, cities were burned, buildings were burned, etc. People were killed. And after a lot of deaths, etc., the government lifted the ban. And then after a long, I guess, and gruesome couple of days, they finally were able to go back to what they were. And they're still rebuilding. And as you told me earlier, there's a similar protest currently happening in Iran. And just to give a brief description about that protest as well. The current protest started in late December of 2025 when Iran's currency dropped and the prices jumped a lot. And it kind of became a breaking point for the economy, right? So people couldn't afford basics such as, food, shelter, paying their rent, etc. And what makes this very similar to the protest in Nepal is that it's the youth that are protesting this as well. And it's not only about the currency, et cetera. It's about them blocking off the social media and corruption, et cetera. And, the government's response has also been the same of how it was for Nepal. There has been a lot of mass killings, et cetera. And, and that hasn't ended quite yet. And why I'm touching upon this is because, you're from Iran. And I just wanted to ask you, how does, all of this happening to your country, make you feel right now?
Like I said earlier, feeling geographically guilty of living here, whereas, in another lifetime, I could have been living there and being a part of all of this. So it does make me feel guilty in a way that I'm lucky to be here, but you almost feel helpless in a way because I am here, but in a way, I wish I was there too. So I could be able to help and be able to do something at least. Whereas here, all we can do is just, update the news and see what's going on.
I definitely agree. And I wanted to ask you your opinion on this because I remember whenever it was September and it was a protest that was happening in Nepal, I felt so completely helpless where there's people out there that are fighting for their rights, protesting, getting murdered, etc. And I'm just here watching through a screen, as you said, refreshing my feed, saying seeing what's happening, etc. And for me, I just felt very guilty.
Yeah.
Of how am I given so much in life where people just have to fight for the same basic necessities? And especially having family there at that time was even more scarier because you didn't know what was happening. Mm-hmm. It was hard to communicate. Sure, there was Viber, but there wasn't WhatsApp or Messenger, which were the main ways of contacting, people in that country. So for us, for my family especially, it was just such a scary time where it was so uneasy.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what's going to happen, or you don't know the outcome of these protests, or is it ever going to end? You know, you don't know. So that's why I just wanted to kind of touch upon it of, you know, just your opinions, your feelings, your thoughts. And I'm sure your mom feels the same way as well. I'm sure she's very scared for her family there as well.
All we can hope is that things get better and, you know, there's some sort of improvement.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. Following up to her questions, so how much knowledge do you have regarding the current protests in Iran?
I have an amount of knowledge that is, you know, maybe not as much as I should. It's more of what I've learned from my parents, what I've learned from my grandparents, of how they lived their life there, and how whenever my grandma was living in Iran and the Shah, which was the king, was ruling over Iran, you know, they had a very modernized life. No hijabs, no anything. She was going to university. She was going there to speak to the Shah herself, which is something that you would not be able to see in today's society. So it's a complete 360 of how things used to be. And yeah.
Well, what do you think the regime that took control, do you think it did right for Iran, or it was completely what you did not like about the regime?
With the regime, I don't want to get too into specifics because it's, you know, it's not my reality. But what I do know as a woman is that they do not have any rights there. And I remember going there as a young child and seeing how everyone had to have jobs and how men were treating women just on the streets was very different for me to see living here. So all I can say for that is that I don't think that that is okay, and that there is a lot of improvement to go as far as women's rights, because women deserve a lot more than they're getting.
Do you think the current protest is going to bring positive?
I hope so, because a lot of lives are being lost. But whenever you are in a suppressive regime, as they are, the only way that you can break out of something like that, unfortunately, may be something like this without any outside help. Nobody is helping Iran, which, you know, I can't really put my input towards that. But if it's just the people of Iran that are putting their lives at risk to make a change, I really hope that they get what they're fighting for.
So moving on to our other segment, I want to talk about American society. So we've talked about being an immigrant daughter, an immigrant household, you know, etc. I also want to talk about, you know, our American society standards and social media and how that has shaped our view, especially being a woman in American society or modern society, etc. Right? So I have a question for you. Do you think that social media has made it harder for you to grow up? Or in a sense of having social media guide you while you're growing up, has that made it harder?
Yeah, I definitely think that social media has put more pressure on us growing up, because it's all about followers, how many comments you're getting, how many likes you're getting, how many friends you have. And it's just like a whole different competition. You don't only have to be smart. You don't only have to be, you know, popular and good in sports. You also have to be popular in social media. So it's a whole other pressure that comes in.
I definitely agree. Where especially currently, I think that social media has taken over our lives for the most part. And I've seen that for myself, where I've tried to control my posting for the last couple of months, or last month even, where why do people have to see what I'm doing all the time?
Yeah.
If I, you know, want views and I care more for the views than for myself, what's the point of me even like doing that activity or going somewhere? And I caught myself whenever I was in Europe this last year, where I was posting 24/7, and I thought to myself, am I taking these pictures so I can enjoy them later, or am I taking these pictures just so I can post it for someone else to see?
Yeah.
And half the time these people don't even care. You know, I'm sure it's the same, I guess, way of how you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Where whenever you take any picture, or me especially, I'm like, oh, well, this look cute if I post it on my story. Where I'm really trying to shift that mindset of, am I going to enjoy this picture the next year whenever I come back to this memory? You know? So that's why even, you know, I guess for you, you don't really post that much. Is that why? Where you're just living, you know, your life in a way of you're just saving all these memories for yourself?
Yeah, in a sense, for me with social media is like, I think about how much access I want people to have to my life. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you post, no matter, you know, how expensive your clothes are, how beautiful you look, there is going to be someone that has something negative to say about you. So for me, if I limit that access of myself and of my life and what I'm doing to these other people that are supposed to be my followers and my supporters and my friends, I give them less access to criticize and judge parts of my life that I don't need criticize and judgment from, because it's my life. I don't feel that I need to share everything. Do I want to post a picture when I go to a cute dinner and I feel like I look pretty? Of course I do. But it is for validation in a way. You know, when you post a picture like that, you want your friends to be like, oh my gosh, you look so pretty. Yes. And I think that's okay. We all want that acceptance and we want that attention, but it can be from the right places and not always from the wrong. You know, like whenever I post something, I'm expecting comments and likes from my friends, you know, from Aria to be like, oh my gosh, you look so great. Or my other girlfriends. It's not like, you know, to be like, I don't know.
No, I agree. Whenever I post and if one of my friends don't comment, that makes me more hurt than a random boy liking my picture. I don't care about that.
Exactly. It's for the girls.
I agree. And even, you know, I'm trying to, I guess, balance it out of I'm posting not only, you know, for people to see for validation, but also for myself.
Yeah.
Where I think I look good,
Exactly.
you know, and why not make a platform for myself of how I look and how, you know, makes me happy. And I've been trying to shift my mindset of whenever I do post now, it's so I can go back on Instagram for your highlights or your archives, etc. Where now I just want to see memories of times that I truly cherish. And not just a random coffee that I got the other day, you know, more of things of, you know, I went to dinner yesterday and I tried out this new meal and I want to take a picture of it and post it. So whenever I want to see it for a special occasion, now I can go back and I can remember exactly what day and when I took this picture, etc. So even I'm still working on that, I'll say, where I haven't fully transitioned into, you know, I'm just doing it for like the memories. I'm still kind of doing it for validation, but I think that's a journey that I'll have to make for a long time and then finally be okay with it. But another question for you, what beauty standard have you had to unlearn?
So for me growing up, it was kind of a little bit opposite than what most people would think, because I grew up like super skinny, like leggings would not even fit me. Like that is how skinny I was. And I got made fun of that. Like growing up, I always got made fun of how skinny I was. So for me, it was the opposite. Like most people now think like everybody wants to be skinny now. But for me, it was the opposite. I always wanted to like gain weight. And I think that the body image stuff really is based on your own insecurities. Like everybody has different things that they think is their body image that they're looking for. Like for me, it was that I wanted to gain weight. For somebody else, their insecurity is what's guiding what they are wanting to look like and what impacts their mental.
Oh, I agree. I think another thing is that, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, the body trend was having a BBL or having huge breasts and, you know, glutes, etc. And now that's shifted where, you know, everyone wants to be skinny, and these celebrities, they're following that standard as well. For example, prime example, Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian. Do you remember how they were back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching, what was it, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I was like, whoa, how can I be like that? And I was 16, mind you.
Yeah.
I did not look like that whatsoever, but even in my high school, that was the standard.
Yeah.
Which is going to sound so silly for me to admit, guys, but I would wear like super stuffed like bras, you know? Where I wanted to match the trend.
Yeah.
But now I've unlearned that for myself too, where my body isn't a trend. And I can't follow what these celebrities have shown off on camera because they have loads of personal trainers, money, etc. But for everyday girls, we don't have access to that. And also, why would I want to, change my body, be super skinny right now when imagine in the next 2 or 3 years, the new body trend is having BBL again?
Yeah.
For example,
the only
right?
thing that really matters is being healthy and what that means for your body type. Everybody has different bodies and everyone's bodies needs different things. Like for me, I was so skinny where it was just like, that's just how I was. No matter how much I ate, no matter what I did, that was just me.
You're lucky.
Well, that's what some may say, but I got bullied for it growing up. So now my main focus is just being healthy no matter what my body looks like. That just means being as healthy as I can for my body, exercising and eating. Like that's like the biggest thing is where people just like don't want to eat, and it's understandable, but it doesn't do anything good for you. And nowadays, like everybody has TikTok and every other scroll is like the most attractive person you've ever seen. And you're like, what can I do to look like them? What are they doing? But what you don't see is the filters, first of all, the money that they may have, the things that they're doing, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't compare yourself to other people because you're you.
I agree. Even for my pictures, if I take one and my tummy looks big, I'm like, take it again. Let's take it one more time. I'll suck it extra hard this time. Where I've had to learn that too, where, you look at someone's picture and you think, wow, she looks so good. She's so skinny. How's her skin that smooth? But you don't know what they've done to that picture. You don't know if that's the fully raw, unedited picture, So even for myself, I've tried to be less harsh.
Yeah.
Where, if I have stretch marks somewhere or acne, that's just who I am and I can't change
We're just
that.
real people.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. We're not like fake Instagram people. We're real people, and that's just how we are.
I agree. But I think, what's also different for me when I was growing up, how you said you were super skinny.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was always a really big child growing up, where I got bullied for that.
Yeah.
So they would call me Medusa or Ursula when I was walking down the hall. And I was a really big child. I think I weighed 160 being in 6th grade or 7th grade. So it was complete opposite of you, where for me, I've always needed to lose weight, and whenever I was going into freshman year of high school, that's whenever I had the worst ED of my life. And you know why? It's because everyone around me told me, you can't, be fat. You can't be this. You can't do that. And social media also, everyone was skinny. So that's what I wanted to be. So I wouldn't eat. I would eat only 1 apple a day for lunch. And I think that was the skinniest I was in my life. And so much of my hair fell out. And I was 14, mind you. And girls these days probably have the same thing as me, or as me. Past tense, I'm saying. I eat enough now. But, especially now, because back in the day, even though there was social media, it genuinely wasn't like how it is today.
It's very bad.
I cannot even imagine what these little girls are
Growing
through.
up with now, yeah.
Because, for me, at least we had a tween phase and we had Justice.
I mean, now I'll see like a 16-year-old that will come up on my TikTok and I'm like, I did not look like that at 16. This girl is 20. We're the same age.
I know.
I cannot believe it. And they're not even having a childhood. Like, where is your Dora t-shirt? Put your Dora t-shirt on.
I agree. I think now it just shifts from elementary to somehow teenager. I really don't know.
They go like this.
But imagine what's going on in their heads, though, because all the celebrities, even, for example, Millie Bobby Brown, she's 21?
Mm-hmm.
Younger than me. I'm 22 now. And she looks, I'll say a little bit older for her age, but she's beautiful, okay? But I still don't look like that at 22, where I have to kind of understand that I am not a celebrity. I don't have access to all those things, but I'm going to work hard and be healthy to where now I'll keep a balance of, I can't starve myself just to look like that, No cameras are on me. I'm fine. No, whatever. But I think I'll definitely say for younger girls now, it just seems much harder.
Yeah.
And I have this friend that I talked to whenever I was in Knoxville, my only friend. She was 16, and she was just telling me the things that are going on in high schools right now, where it's a complete shock for me. Because how are you talking about these topics or dealing with, body issues, so many other, like how you look, your makeup, etc., having boyfriends this young?
Yeah.
So whenever you were 16, what was like the main thing going on in your head? What were you thinking about the whole time?
I feel like 16 was like a big time for like, okay, first we got our driver's license. That was a big thing. And I feel like I was more focused on like my friend groups, you know, having my friends, but also, of course, boys were a big thing as well. But the only big like social media I can think of was really like Snapchat. Like, how many Snapchats were you getting? Who are you snapping? Like, you know, silly things like that. But it was like normal stuff. You know?
I
And just like
agree.
who's popular. Why are you not popular? Who are your friends? Who are you friends with? Like those were just the small things.
Yeah, definitely. I think whenever going back to the Snapchat thing, where you know how you're perceived to be more popular or cool if you had a higher Snap score.
Oh my god.
So what I would do is I would send snaps to celebrities. Like I would send snaps. So if you know how whenever you click on your Snap score and you see the amount you've sent versus the amount you've received, the amount I've sent is so much more than the amount I received, because that's what I cared about back in the day. You know, I didn't care about all the things that these girls are caring about right now, you know, in a sense of
No, it's not your Snapchat.
makeup, whatever. Mine was my Snapchat score.
I know.
So it was just small things like that for me too, I'll say. Or, you know, driving my car. Or for me, the big thing was my Sweet 16. Because, you know me, I'm super dramatic. So I had to have the biggest Sweet 16. I had to do all of that. But, you know, my friend who's 16, she's telling me how she's going to Pilates at 16. I was not even going to the gym at 16. I was going on walks and runs, whatever. But Pilates? How do they even let you in the studio is my question. I
would
thought
fall over.
Yeah, I thought the limit was 18, right? Of being able to
Really?
go, right?
Yeah. I have no idea.
I work at a studio and I should
would
know
think
this,
so.
but I that's my guess, right?
Yeah.
Even that, or dieting, you know, in a way of
I know. That should not be something that they're like thinking about at that age.
I
at all.
agree. No, I agree. Okay, another question for you. What is normal online that would be weird in real life?
I don't know.
I think it's the day in my life TikToks,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Where, let's say, for any of these videos, it's clips of someone's day, right? But how can someone's day be that perfect?
It's not.
They wake up with
There's
their
no
hair
way.
done and like their
No.
makeup done. And I'm like, when I wake up, I don't
do
look
not
like
look
that.
like that.
I know. So even in that perspective, whenever I wake up in the morning and I see all these influencers, it's like TikToks of how they wake up in the morning, I have to train myself to think that that's not
That's
really
not real.
your
Yeah.
day in my life. That's just what you want to show me, you know?
Yeah.
So in that, could you think of something like that you think is weird, like yourself?
I don't know. I feel like on social media, it's a lot of like, yeah, portraying your life as how you want it to be or how you want other people to perceive it. But that's just not how it is. And it's very toxic for the people that are watching it because they think, you know, why is my life not like this? Why am I not accomplishing 20 tasks in one day
Yeah.
when in reality, their video is like a week span of what they did. So, yeah, other than that, I can't really think of anything else.
I think one other thing would also be commenting, you know,
Yeah.
where I can go on social media and I can make, you know, a fake username, let's say plant XYZ, whatever. And I can say the meanest and the most brutal things about someone online just based on their appearance.
Yeah.
Oh, your hair is frizzy, you look like this, whatever. But could you ever say that to someone in real life? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's
And
a
I
good point.
genuinely think that people are such cowards who do that, where say it to me with your real account.
I don't think
Text me.
I've ever left a comment on anyone's video, like ever. Like it's just like so much effort to even like leave a comment that's let alone positive, to think of something negative to put on a random person's video that you don't even know.
I
Like,
agree. For even, you know, one of my clips here, so many people commented so many rude things, but at the end of the day, half the time what they're saying didn't even make sense, and they didn't watch the full clip of the full podcast to even be saying that. But why do you care so much, you know, about what I'm saying when there's like things that you can talk about or fix in your own life?
Yeah.
That's what I've never understood in social media. And I just, at the end of the day, I just think, just be honest. Text me and tell me what you think, rather than creating a whole account going to that measure.
And you can do it in a positive way. If it really impacts you that much that you feel that you need to leave a negative comment,
Mhm.
first of all, do you even know this person? No.
Yeah.
If you do, then let them know personally that, hey, what you said was wrong, or I don't agree with this, and that's it. To like point somebody out publicly, there's no reason for that.
I agree. You know, even if you were to look at some influencers' videos, I would read through the comments myself.
Yeah.
And more than half of them are such mean and heinous things that people
I could
leave.
never do what they do.
I
Never.
know. I know. Even reading through the comments that I had on my video, I was getting so sad.
Yeah.
Where how can these people be so okay with receiving that on day-to-day basis, you know?
Yeah.
So I would just say that's another thing that I think is very different in social media than real life.
Do you guys know, like, around now, I think 40 to 50% are bots.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
There
those
is something
people-
called bot farming,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just one person's perspective, and he builds this different kind of bots, and just those bots goes and comments in different YouTube videos or TikTok videos.
Wow.
So
I
it's
had,
just maybe it's just one person.
I had no idea. So is it like mass commenting, these bots?
Yeah. And someday there's a prediction. These now with AI coming up, 100% is just gonna be bots talking with each other, and people are just gonna observe. There's a prediction of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a new topic I didn't know about.
Yeah, we discussed this in News Nonsense more before. Like nowadays, like there are more bots comments, and people are more only observing through their phones. They're not commenting. That's a dangerous thing.
a lot of the people that leave negative comments don't have a profile picture, don't have any videos, don't have anything. So it's like, if you are willing to comment on somebody else's content that they're putting out, but you're not willing to put yourself out there, it's kind of ironic.
No, I agree. Okay. What would you tell your younger self who was trying to be, quote unquote, enough, or perfect, or another word of, just them trying to be the best versions of themselves?
I would say that the most you can do is just be yourself, because no matter how perfect you think you are, no matter what you do, there's always going to be someone that has something negative to say about you. The only thing that you can do is be truly happy with yourself and who you are. And like, my point of guidance is, if the people that are closest to me think that I am a good person and truly believe in me, then that's how I know that I'm on the right path. Why would I care who's somebody that doesn't even know me, doesn't even know where I'm from or what my story is, what their opinion is about me? It does hurt, of course, if somebody, it doesn't matter who they are, has something negative to say about you. No matter who you are, I don't care what you say, it does hurt to a certain level. But the thing that you can tell yourself is that if you truly think that you are a good person, and if the people around you truly believe in you and think that you're a good person, then that's like how I know that, I'm on the right track.
No, I agree. Because going back to whenever I was saying advice to your younger self, where what I would tell myself is that don't take what these people say to your heart. Because you know how I was telling you how I got bullied in middle school? We're getting called all these names. That was my personality. Yeah. I would wear these really long shirts that went down kind of mid to my thighs because of how big my thighs were, and I was so insecure about them. I would wear this cardigan where it would cover up my arms, and just so I could hide like what I looked like because of all these rude comments. And I understand they're kids, kids say what they want to say, but that really hurt me. And that took me such a long time to overcome. Oh my goodness, you have no idea. I think it was just years of trauma, I could say, 4 or 5 years of being fully bullied. And then in high school, I decided to fully just change myself and change my personality, how I looked, etc. And that was a very hard, obstacle to come through, where I was rebuilding myself to a point where I had to teach myself not to take opinions seriously anymore. And I think that's why now I'm so good at taking negative criticism, where I've already had so much said to me at such a young age, where now what can you even say that will hurt me? There's not much. And also, you're like, as you said, you're not anyone who's close to me. Why would your opinions matter to me whatsoever? Like if you, for example, were to say something to me, obviously I would take that near and dear to my heart because I trust your opinion and your advice, and whatever you say is the best for me. But a random person, like, what are they going to say to make my life better, you know? And so I think it's the same way. And I think it goes vice versa, where I'm sure if I told you anything, like I know for a fact that you would, you know, take that as like a true and honest opinion.
Arya, what advice would you give the young ones going through the same situation? Like how you got out of,
Like the ones who got bullied?
like,
Or
are getting bullied now?
I would say, you know, it honestly is a part of growing up where kids are mean and they're ruthless and they're going to say things to you that you don't want to hear. But you have to teach yourself, or that teaches you how to be stronger. So whatever they say, it doesn't define who you are. You know, you are your own individual. You are beautiful. You are in this world because, you know, of God, and God made you this way. So how could someone else's words, you know, make you any less of a person than you are? So I think it'll take you some time, but eventually you will grow into your own skin. And whenever you're even 20, 25, etc., you will learn that what they said in the beginning never mattered, because now you are here today even because of their rude comments, etc. So I would just say you'll eventually learn to be okay with it, even though right now it's hard, and that, you know, time will tell. So that's what I would say.
That's it.
Do you think girls get judged more for everything, such as, you know, looks, dating success, personality, compared to what guys get judged for?
For sure. Girls are under a microscope. Everything we do, the way that we look, what we say, it's just always under scrutiny. Not to say that, you know, men don't face same things. They for sure do. Like within other men, you know, they have to be funny. They have to, you know, look a certain way. They have to be strong. They have to be athletic to fit in with the other guys, the, you know, the cool guys of school or of life, really. But I definitely think that women do have it harder. And there's always something that we do that's under criticism. You know, you may be so beautiful, but if you're not smart and funny and successful, then that's going to come under attack. If you're smart, funny, and successful and you're not beautiful, then that's going to be under attack. So at the end of the day, you can't do anything right. So you might as well just be yourself and live your life, and none of that matters in the end.
Yeah, no, I agree, where no matter what we do or how perfect we try to make ourselves, there's always going to be something or someone that says, well, actually, you could do it this way. And you can make it better this way. Well, you're not living my life.
Yeah.
Why do you care? You know, go fix your own life. Like, I'm sorry. No, I'm just being honest, you know, where, like I said, or to a different way of answering my own question, is that no matter how successful I feel like females could ever be, we're always going to be seen a little bit lower than men.
For sure.
And
For sure.
I hate that.
I mean, like, because I worked so many jobs growing up, one of my main jobs was like the real estate, where I was managing other agents, and I was like supposed to be someone with authority, but in our team meetings next to the men, no matter what I said, it just didn't matter. Even if I'm talking about something that I know about and it's my like job, whatever the man says, it's over what I say. So that's just how it is. And you have to learn how to kind of set that aside and work on yourself to become like the smartest and the most educated person in the room, so that no matter who it is, if it's a man or it's a woman, that you're always on top of your own stuff. That's all that you can do.
I agree. For example, for whenever I was in my summer internship, it was me and my mentor. We were the only two girls in my entire team. And we were the two youngest girls too, by the way. So in our team meetings, it would be probably 15 people, and only two of us are girls, the youngest ones. And then it was all men. And, you know, in one of our first team meetings, I was just so scared to talk because I don't know what they would think. They might think I'm stupid, or, you know, why is this little girl here? Like, how can she know as much as I do? But what my mentor taught me that I keep to myself till this day is that we are here because we're smart enough to be in this team meeting. They hired us for a reason, for our new perspectives. So we bring more change to this team. So you shouldn't, be shy or you shouldn't talk because you are here because they want you to be here, So even for me, I had to teach myself where I can talk, I can say what I need to say, and I shouldn't be scared to, put my opinions out there, especially in my team, because I'm there for a reason.
Exactly.
I'm sure you felt the same way too, even at your current job.
Yeah. It's a little more easier at my current job because my entire team is all women. So that's a little bit easier, but that brings its own conflicts as well. So it's just knowing who you are and knowing that you are smart enough and you are there for a reason. And that's all you really need.
What conflicts do you think that brings? 'Cause I never had a team where it's just all women. So I would love to hear your perspective.
I think for me, it's that I'm younger. They're all I'm new to this role and they're all established in their jobs. And I think in the beginning, they may have seen me as a threat. There's 2 new interns that are coming in. What does this mean for my job? If I was in their position, I would maybe feel the same way. But I think it's, my responsibility to make them feel comfortable and trying to speak to them and learn more about their roles and their jobs there. And it's just a different dynamic because women on women is a whole other thing. And you just have to make sure that there's boundaries and you all feel comfortable with each other. And once you get there, then it's really perfect.
How long did that process take you then?
It took a long time, honestly, because the people that I work with, they had been working together a long time prior. The company that they're even working at now, they work together at a different company. So me and the other intern that came in, it was 2 strangers trying to get into their circle. So we felt alienated for a while, but we had to kind of try to include ourselves, which is difficult for me because I'm just an introvert. I like to keep to myself. I like to work at my computer and that's it. But then at the other side, I'm why are they not talking to me? I want to be friends with them, but you just have to put yourself out there and nothing bad can come of that, really. If the people don't accept you, then that's it. You know that they are not welcoming people. And if they do, then you put yourself out there and you have new friendships and new coworkers that you can now work with.
Mm-hmm. It's a very different of a new perspective because, like I said, for me, I was working with mostly males.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it would be in a whole team of just females. So I've never been around that circle, but I'm sure that there'd be not even a competition in a way where I feel as being females, we're if we want something, that's how we want it to happen.
Yeah.
There's so many conflicting ideas or opinions, just because of the fact that you guys all want your own, I guess, way.
Yeah.
Which I can see that being a little difficult too of, so what's the conclusion? What are we going to do? We have 10 different opinions. Now what?
I think there's also a difference between a woman that is quiet and hardworking and may not go and have conversations with everybody than a man that is quiet and hardworking. For a man, it's seen as he's so strong and he's doing his own thing and he's hardworking. As a woman, you're seen as she doesn't care about anybody else. She doesn't want to put that effort towards, having interactions with other people. So
yeah,
it's kind of double standard.
I definitely agree. Even double standards in a sense of, I've talked to even some of my male friends about this where, they always expect when we're older, especially no matter how well off we are in our careers, that if I ever have a child or whatever, it's just expected for me to stay at home. Even if, let's say, for example, I were to be making more than my partner,
Mm-hmm.
why do I have to give it up? I guess I understand how it's been for the longest time, but I don't like that. Do you?
No, I don't like any of the standards that are put because everyone's situation is different and you just have to go off of that. And sometimes it's not even just one person. Maybe it's a team effort. It doesn't have to be one person has to stay or one person has to not work because it's a partnership.
I agree. And, I think the most heartbreaking or sad thing is that a lot of the guys that I've even talked to in this current day, a lot of them have that old mindset where, no, it doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. You're going to stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go and work, where I hate that mindset, because for a lot of, I guess, brown boys, or I guess Indian Nepali boys, their parents did the same thing, where, the mom was always at home, whatever, and now they're taught that whenever they're older and they have kids, not for me. So one thing that I say before I start talking to anyone is that I cannot do that, especially because my parents have always taught me to, be very successful in my career, my best foot forward whenever I do anything, where if I have such a well-off career, I don't think I can ever let go of that. I think same thing for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you've worked so hard for your career as well. By the way, guys, she has a master's and she's only 21. No, she's about to get her master's.
Let's see.
So we are going to the next questions. I have like short questions for both of you guys or just for her. So first thing is Arya's profile is getting updated that she slept with her parents till 14. Right? So till 14 you were sleeping with your parents?
Yeah, I was. Well, in a sense, I was on the floor. I wasn't on the bed with them. Yeah.
It's different.
But it's also my brother too. So it was
also
me, my brother, my mom, my dad, all in one king bed. That did not work. That's why I had to move to the floor, by the way.
Sure. Is it because you guys were really scared of the dark, or?
It's just because I was so comfortable with my mom around me all the time, where if she wasn't with me, it was even just being scared of the dark, which I am. It was because I always was scared of ghosts, I'm going to be honest. And I thought some ghost was going to take me away if my mom wasn't in the same room.
Okay, gotcha. This question is specifically for our guests. So did you ever wish for a sibling growing up?
When I was growing up, no. I loved all the attention. I loved being the only child. All the gifts were for me. Everything was for me. But now that I've gotten older and I've seen firsthand other people's relationship with their siblings, I'm extremely jealous. Even my boyfriend, he has such a close relationship with his brother, which is 9 years older than him. And they are so close-knit. He just recently moved to Virginia and they still call all the time. And I just wish that I had like a family member that was like my partner through life. So yes and no.
Okay. It's the same thing for me. Even I'm a lone child with my parents. So. Were you more of a play alone kid or just hang out? You used to hang out with everyone?
No, I was a play alone. Like me and my stuffed animals. I had like a few close friends that, were Persian and like I knew through my mom. And, we would like play together. But other than that, it was mostly just, me.
Now the questions are for both of you guys. Were your parents more strict or more relaxed?
My mom was very strict. She was very, very strict. Maybe once I turned like 18, slowly, things got a little bit more relaxed. But growing up, it was very, very strict.
I would say for me, it was half and half, but less strict, more relaxed, where one day I sat them down and I told them, do you want me to do it and be honest to you or do it and lie to you? I'm going to do it either way. That was whenever I was 16. So after that, whenever I said I wanted to do something, they said okay, because they knew either way it was going to happen. So rather me be honest,
Yeah, no, I did not have that luxury. If she said no, it was no.
Okay. I think even to a point where my parents, for my 18th birthday, they bought me so much, alcohol. That's not safe, guys. Don't do that if you're below 21. But I mean, they were like, might as well you be at home and be safe, or we can take care of you.
Definitely.
Rather than you being outside doing God knows what. Even for like parties, for example, right? They'd be like, take an Uber, we'll drop you off, we'll pick you up. We know you're gonna go either way. Rather you just be safe when you come back home and go. So they've been more relaxed, I would say.
Okay. So both of you are immigrant childs, right? So how did your parents' sacrifice shape your mindset? What do you think? It shaped your mindset in a different way? I think it definitely did. So what do you think about that?
I think having an immigrant mom and dad, I had to take the opportunities that I was given more seriously. I like throughout school, I always had to take like the highest classes. I had to get the best grades. I always had to think like 10 steps forward. So their sacrifices really put things into perspective of how difficult life really can be. and what I have to do to make sure that I can support myself and them in this country.
I definitely agree. I think for me, it was more, I have to be more well off in my career. That's the one goal, no matter what in my life or whatever emotions or experience I'm going through. My parents have taught me that you have to be well off or settled, and that for us has always been having a stable job. So for my parents, like I said, working at gas stations, and then he worked so hard to have a good job now, and he's still working really hard. So viewing him doing all of that and working very hard to, give us a good life, I have to do the same.
Yeah.
Where my top priority is my career, and I want to make sure I do whatever it takes to give myself the same life my parents have given me.
Okay. Asking you both, how many times have you been to Iran or Nepal?
I've been, I think, 3 times since.
3 times?
Yeah.
What about you?
I have not been back.
Really?
No.
You haven't
we
gone
talked
to Nepal?
about this.
Ah, okay, I remember
No.
that. You have to go back though.
I really do. I want to go back. It's just hard with my family a little bit of going back because of my brother and everything. But the last time I went to Nepal or was in Nepal was whenever I was 5 years old and I moved here. So it's been 17 years that I haven't gone back for.
There is a drastic change in those 17 years.
There really is. I have lost so much of my Nepali. And I think, even whenever I do go back, I'm going to be able to learn a lot more just because of the fact that I have to be speaking Nepali there. But I really do want to go, and I hope it's a trip that I can make soon.
You're going 3 times back. What did you find different from US? Like, what did you like? What you did not like?
See, whenever I went back and I was younger, I did not like a lot. But what I realized when I was older was that it's not my country itself. It's, the regime that is controlling everything. But at the time, all I could think was, I don't ever want to go back there because I didn't realize why I didn't like it, because that's not, why they are the way they are. So obviously it's very beautiful, and, my family is there.
Iran is one of the most beautiful countries.
It's so beautiful.
I have like 2-3 Iranian friends while I was studying in college. They used to describe it. They used to show me. They even called to Iran, but I was not able to go because of the different circumstances.
Yeah.
Anyways, did you guys take your cultural food at schools?
Oh, let me tell you about this.
And did any food from home embarrass you at school?
Yes. So I had a little thermos that my mom would pack for me every day, and my friends would always be like, "What the hell are you eating?" And I would always have to explain it to them, and they'd still be so confused. And it was embarrassing for sure, because they would have their grilled cheese and PB&J, and I would have my weird substance, and they're like, "What are you eating?" And I'm like, "This is so good." So it was very different.
I think for me, it was more of the smell where Nepali and Indian food has that stench to it,
Masala.
especially. Yeah, it's
Masala.
very strong. And I think it's not only just the food, where for me, it was the clothes and the way that you smelled too. Because whenever I was younger, I didn't really care about how I smelled. So for me, the kids would say, "You smell like curry." All the time. So where I think this was in middle school as well, where I finally learned where, I didn't smell the best. So after that, whenever my mom would be cooking, I would always make sure to close my closet door first. And then I would close my room door, so at least my room and my area didn't smell like that. And then I would just make sure to wash my hair, because the stench mostly stays in your hair too. But going back to your main question of if I brought food, the answer is no, I never did. Because after I found out I smelled like that, I was like, I cannot do it again and bring the food there as well.
I took my food up until junior year of high school.
No way.
Oh yeah. I loved it.
Did you guys feel embarrassed at that time taking your own food? And what has changed now that you remember? You should not be embarrassed by those things. It's just
I felt embarrassed a little bit because it was such different food. But now, I don't care, because I understand that all different people and all different cultures have their own food. And it was really something that I had to teach my friends, because they just didn't know any better. So once they tried my food, they were like, "Oh, wow, this is really good." So it was just a teaching moment of even now when I see other cultures' foods, I'm like, "Oh, this looks kind of strange," but I'm still willing to try it because I know that other people felt that same way about me.
Yeah, Iranian foods are so good.
So
I've tasted
good.
so many times. And what about you? You feel embarrassed and stop bringing your own food?
I never did. I never brought Nepali food to school because, like I said, the
Yeah.
smell is already strong on me. So imagine the stench on my
The
food.
food.
But now I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So even I don't know how to cook Nepali food now. So it would be me going out to a restaurant eating. And I don't mind the smell at all. It's just, it honestly feels like home now.
Yeah,
Whenever
okay.
I smell Nepali food or any kind of like Indian food, I just think it just smells like home and it takes me back to whenever I was little. So I think I've grown from that. And I've also, like you said, just because of, how it looks, I'm not going to not try it because
Yeah.
it's so yummy.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing.
Yeah, I get you. So is being an immigrant child a disadvantage or a superpower? What do you guys think?
Superpower for sure.
Definitely, right?
Yeah, I would not be who I am today or where I am today if I didn't have the struggles and the pressures that were put on me, and I'm forever grateful for it.
Oh, I agree. I think even just being at UTD, so many of our colleagues, or I guess students or classmates, were
Mhm.
all, I guess, children of immigrant
Yeah.
parents, right? And everyone at UTD works so hard. So it is a superpower. It pushes all of us to be the best versions of ourselves, I would say.
For sure.
And my last question would be, what opportunities do you think America gave you that you wouldn't have had elsewhere? Because your parents moved here, right? You're immigrants. They wanted you to get better opportunities. So what do you think compared to your countries right now with Iran going and Nepal also being one of the third world countries? So what do you guys think about that?
Basic things like going to university, just being a woman and working and having some sort of power in the workplace and being able to move up the way that I have may have taken me much longer, and I would not have been able to like start working when I was like 16 years old and like working at a company.
Definitely. I would say the freedom part, being able to drive my car
Yeah.
everywhere. The first thing, because even there, driving a car, so I would have a scooter there. That's how,
Yeah.
people get around there. Having my car at 16, being able to drive wherever I want to go, being able to work, pay for my own items. Because in Nepal, I'm sure I would still be living off my parents fully till this day.
Yeah.
Or maybe until I got married, whatever. So I think it's just having that freedom of living my own life more and being more independent. Because I have some cousins in Nepal right now where they're so incredibly dependent on their parents for almost everything.
Yeah.
Where I think that's where America shaped me more, where I'm more independent. And I'm not trying to deny, I guess, people who have came to America from Nepal being students now where they have to work extra hard. I was talking about the kids who are there right now who are being pampered by their parents.
It's more than pamper. It's like the amount even though they have the same skill sets as you, they cannot earn more to
Yeah.
have a life that we can have over here because
That's
the
true.
pay is so low.
That is true,
You
yeah.
guys get it, right? So in Nepal, it's the parents that give money, but even that's built upon generational wealth.
That's true.
That's what we call. In America,
Mhm.
there's no such thing as generational wealth, right?
Mhm.
Nepal is generational wealth that take place. It's not only because of your mom and dad, but it's because of your grandfather and forefathers who have like kept the generational
Definitely.
wealth that
Mhm.
gives you the ability, and that's why it's such a different society over there. And the
Yeah.
pay is not high, so you cannot live by yourself.
Yeah.
That's a different thing in Nepal. Okay. So at last, we go to a different section. Arya wanted to do some game today. We haven't done it for a very long time, actually, because we are having different episodes
Yeah.
where we dive more into the guest, or we are talking just about news and politics and all.
Mhm.
So today, I have created a game for you guys. It's a simple game. It's no complex today, like Arya faced last time. It's just choose one.
Okay.
There will be two options, right? The guest must choose one. No third party options. No both. You're gonna choose both. No depends. Like depends upon this situation. You just have to choose. It's not like hard choices. It's just like simple choices. After choosing, explain a little bit why. Why did you choose that option? And in the comment section, viewers can go and vote. So because today's theme, Arya said, was how Iranian childs differ from Nepalese childs, maybe a little cultural different, but you guys both grew up here, so your choices are according to. Choose one. Persian chicken kebab or Nepali thakali?
Am I choosing?
Yeah, both of you guys have to choose one.
The Persian chicken kebab, obviously.
Wait, I would choose the Persian chicken kebab.
I knew it.
That looks delicious.
So good. I'm hungry.
Have you ever had Nepali thakali?
I have. Yes,
okay.
it's
How
really
did you
delicious
like it?
too. I like it.
Mm.
But in that picture, the other one looks so much more appetizing.
As I said, Iranian food is really good.
Yeah.
I had it while I was in Malaysia. There were lots of like Arabic shop, Iranian shops, and I used to have those. And I used to have that every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kebabs especially delicious.
So good.
Next choice is safari in Nepal or an Islamic architecture tour in Iran. Which would you guys choose?
Safari in Nepal. Because it wouldn't just be the animals, it would be the mountains, and all the hills and the landscape, etc. So definitely safari for me.
I think I would do the architecture because I've never gotten to like really see that side of Iran. And that, I mean, when I went back, I was so young. So I think I would be able to appreciate it differently if I got to see it now.
Okay. What do you think about the safari in Nepal? Would be a good experience?
I do think it would be a good experience, but personally, that's a little bit scary to me. Not, the animals can just like run up to the car.
Yeah, they can.
It's a little scary.
You have to see a video of tiger jumping on top of an elephant.
See, yeah, I would pass out.
Anyways, I would choose Islamic architecture. I'm really into that Islamic architecture and different type of architecture. And to disappoint Arya, even though if you go to safari in Nepal, you barely get to see those animals that you want to.
Why?
I've been to like 2-3 times. You don't get to see much more of the times. There's like too much tourism, too much cars, too much elephants. It's like really disappointing.
Okay,
Last
then
time I
she's
went,
coming
I
to
saw
Iran
nothing.
with us.
So what's the, I guess, most popular type of animal that you would see in the safari?
Mostly rhinos.
Oh, yeah, I can see in the picture.
Yeah, there he is.
The other one is high altitude trekking or desert exploration. This is based on the geographical of Nepal and Iran.
That's
I'm
really
scared of
hard.
trekking.
These are both hard quests, right?
Very hard.
Even in desert, it's really hard.
So,
you have to
quick
stand the
question.
heat.
High altitude trekking, does that mean Mount Everest kind of
Not
trekking
Mount
or base
Everest,
camp
just-
kind of trekking? I don't know.
Just say till
Valid
base camp.
question.
Okay. Then I would say base camp.
Okay.
What about you?
I cannot do the cold. So maybe but I also can't do the hot.
You'd be on a camel, though. Think about it.
You're right. The camel will take me on my way. Then maybe the desert.
Okay. So you guys are just picking your own countries, right?
Basically. I do, though. Base camp, I do want to trek one day. So
Money or wisdom? Now these are just general choices. Do you want like extreme wealth or like really vast amount of wisdom and intelligence?
Oh, you can't have both.
No, you cannot have both.
This is hard. I would say wisdom, right? That's the best thing to have.
Don't ask me. It's up to you.
Well, out of I guess I would give wisdom 51% and then money 40. Was
So you
it
choose
49%? Yeah. So I would choose wisdom.
I think I would choose wisdom too. I feel like if you have like all the money in the world, it's like a completely different thing and you're never truly going to be happy with all of that. So I think wisdom and just really, truly having all the wisdom is the best thing to have.
Next one. Strength or endurance?
I'm going to say endurance. You should say that too. We do Pilates.
Yeah, I know, right?
We need
the
endurance.
endurance to get through those 50 minutes.
Because this is why I'm saying that. Let's say I have to lift up a 50-pound dumbbell. Okay, I can do that. But what if a room's crashing on me? I need endurance to hold it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think personally endurance is much better.
Yeah, I agree.
For girls, is it always endurance? Because guys always go for strength. Do you think that's a common thing?
I think so. I think so, yeah.
Because I'd rather be able to do something for a long period of time than just do it once and now I'm fatigued.
Exactly. I don't care about how strong I am. I care about how long I can do it.
And I think that honestly makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Like I can do that. Like I can hold that for a long time. You can do it for only 1 second. It's a little bit different.
Yeah. Nowadays, the trend is people stop playing sports and building more endurance. They're only focusing on those muscle areas. Those will only help you lift something, but not build those endurance. Like even for me, endurance and athleticism is more important for me than like strength.
You should try Pilates. Okay.
And the last one is, with now AI coming up, what do you think? AI or human intelligence is more powerful?
More powerful?
More powerful or more impactful, or is going to change the whole future?
In the past, it was definitely human intelligence, but now AI is so incredibly smart, especially being in computer science. I have to choose AI.
Yeah. Okay.
I think human intelligence. I think there's something that's so important about human emotions and just like common sense really that we have as humans that AI just doesn't get
You
yet.
can teach AI common sense.
Eventually, but just not as at this point.
Okay.
I
okay.
say human intelligence. Maybe
AGI is coming. AGI. That's where the AI has common sense. Artificial general intelligence. So if that is achieved, then
I'll change my answer. But for now, human intelligence.
Okay.
But don't you guys think, she's in computer, I would like to ask, human intelligence is needed? There's something different, shapes up the whole world because of human intelligence? What do you think?
I mean, I would say human intelligence created AI, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, people were smart enough to create AI, but now AI has gotten to a point where it's beating human intelligence just because of how smart it's gotten, even in the past 2 years. Because ChatGPT came out our sophomore year of college, so 2 years ago, right? But look at like the progress that AI has made. It's been like from here like to all the way here in 2 years, and that's just till 2026 now. So imagine in 2 more years, it's gonna triple or quadruple.
Which do you think is gonna be more impactful? The collective, like human intelligence of all the people in the world, versus the collective intelligence of all the AIs in the world in the next 10 years?
At this rate,
yeah,
because humans are using so much AI already, where our intelligence is already going down. So no doubt when I say it will be AI, you know.
Okay. By the way, these are all made by AI in like 2 seconds.
There you go. Really?
Yeah. I don't have a graphic designer. I don't have the time, so I have to make something out of it as fast as possible.
Understood.
Right? Okay, closing statements.
Well, do you want to say anything to our audience before we end off?
No. Thank you so much for having me and listening to what we have to say.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming, guys. This is my best friend, Asal, as I said, earlier in this podcast. But make sure to like and subscribe, to our podcast. We want to keep growing, etc. And also, this is my first time hosting, so, I might have made some mistakes. So please be easy on me. This was hard. This was scary. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.